What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Your Request. This is the segment on my channel where you request movies for me to check out and I review them. And I really enjoy doing this segment. I just released another episode of this recently. I took a little break from it for a while just because I started up some new segments and was trying to incorporate some more episodes of that. But I still have quite a big list of people's requests that I want to check out still. And this is a perfect time to check this movie out because it is Pride Month and the movie is called Pride. And I didn't know anything about this before I went in to watch it. I read a little brief plot description, but this has an incredible star-studded cast in it. And that made me really excited to check it out. And the movie I'm going to be telling you about today is Pride. Pride is directed by Matthew Warchus. In 1984, a group of LGBTQ activists decides to raise money to support the National Union of Mine Workers during their lengthy strike. There's only one problem. The union seems embarrassed to receive their support. So I was really excited to watch this movie. Like I said, perfect time to review this since the movie's called Pride. It is Pride Month, and it is largely about the queer community. And what I will say about this movie, this is easily one of my favorite things that I've watched this year so far, even though it's an older movie. And I could easily see myself revisiting this quite often. It is such like a heartwarming, wholesome experience. There's definitely some weightier, dramatic moments, but I think the movie really more than anything just does a beautiful job at showcasing like when human beings strip away all the bullshit preconceived bias that they have about people because of incorrect information that they've been fed their entire lives, and they strip all of that away and they come together and support each other as people who are all trying to live life and just like succeed in their goals and accomplish the things that they wish to accomplish, that it can be a truly beautiful thing where you can make new relationships and build friendships. And there's just so much beauty in this movie despite its relatively simple premise, and it is based on real events, which is why I think the movie hits even harder, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about it today. So in this movie, we are dropped into Europe in 1984, and there are a ton of different characters in this movie, but the character who really gets things started off is Mark Ashton, who is a gay man. It's an enormous activist. He's constantly working within the queer community to kind of fight for equal rights for all gay people. And watching the news over and over again, sees information about the Welsh miners' strike, where this group of miners got together to prevent the closure of these certain pits that were deemed uneconomic by Margaret Thatcher and the Conservative Party at that time, which made the lives of these people incredibly difficult, even just to obtain food. And so Mark Ashton and this group of people we get introduced to, including this character Joe, played by George McKay, who's like a young queer person that lives at home kind of closeted from his family. There's a ton of different characters. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but this group of activists comes together and says, hey, this group of coal miners is now being treated the way that we as the queer community are treated in the media. They're bullying them, they're treating them horribly, and all they want is, correct representation. They want the ability to do their job, and they don't want, treated horribly and have terrible conditions from the conservative side of the government. And so they go to this small Welsh mining community, and when they get there, they're met by multiple people in the community. But first and foremost, one of the leaders is played by Paddy Considine, who is, I love him. He's one of my favorite actors. And he meets them, and he's incredibly friendly, and he's so happy that people want to help them. And there are multiple people in the group that are okay with the gay people being there and supporting them. But there's a large amount of this mining community that's super conservative, and they don't like them at all, and they want to run the gay people out of the community and run them out from helping them make money to live, essentially. And so the entire movie is watching the relationship between these members of the queer community and these members of this mining community coming together for the common cause of trying to end this strike so that the miners can just get back to their day-to-day life. So like I said, I absolutely loved this movie, and there are a multiple number of reasons for that. For starters, I could go through every name of the actors and actresses in this movie, but there are just some truly incredible performances. One of the things that I really like is after a while, you just kind of forget that you're watching a movie. Everybody settles into these characters, and there's so many different small little like mini side plots with these characters that just make it feel completely satisfying. Like each and every one has a very distinct personality and something that they're going through that allows all the emotions in the film to feel incredibly authentic. Something like this could come across as like overly sappy, you know, like sometimes when it comes to movies about, you know, the queer community or just any sort of marginalized group, if it's done in the wrong way, it can come across as like overly sentimental or inauthentic. And I never felt that in this movie. I always felt like the intentions were right and the performances helped that. Like there's so many amazing performances in this movie that really made it entertaining to see. Like I said, I'm a huge Patty Considine fan, and I thought he was great. Bill Nighy does a phenomenal job in this movie. He plays a character that I feel like is a little bit different than what I'm normally used to seeing him play, and he did a really excellent job. George McKay was great for the period of time that he was in the movie. Andrew Scott's in this for a little bit. Imelda Staunton was another one of my favorite actresses in this movie. She was just absolutely incredible. And they all kind of add different things into the experience, which is what I really appreciate. And then I really liked the way this movie was presented. It was very well shot and very well edited, which made it very easy to, you know, stay invested in the movie, especially like when they're in the bigger city in comparison when they go into this small community. I feel like there's a stark contrast in the way that the film is showcased to you, where whenever they're in the mining community, a lot of times the colors are a little bit more muted and there's a lot of attention to detail and sort of just conveying the overall attitude at that period in time where you have this community who works one of the most physical and demanding jobs that you could possibly imagine, that the government isn't giving them correct treatment, and the government hates unions because it's people fighting for people. And I just really thought that the visual presentation worked really well. And I also loved the utilization of music in this. I thought it did a really nice job adding to the film overall. And the most important part of this movie, and what I think really moved me a lot, is obviously it's Pride Month right now. I talk about this all the time. This is obviously a movie set in the UK, and I'm a US citizen. But in the United States of America right now, because of the horrible, disgusting administration and the moron that is in charge right now, there is more volatility towards the queer community than there's ever been, specifically for trans individuals in the United States of America. They take up such a small part of the population, and I feel like Moron's entire campaign that he ran on, there was such an enormous part of it centered at targeting the trans community. And you know what I've never been able to understand. I was indoctrined into a highly conservative religious household that spoke poorly of the queer community my entire life. I am a member of the queer community. It took me a very long time to accept my identity and embrace my identity because of the way that I was raised. And as I've grown and as I've developed and thought things through, I just really don't understand why we as a society are so dead set on teaching children to hate and to hate things that just people don't understand. It's the same thing as the way that African Americans were treated in the United States of America for so many years, and the horrors and hardships that they had to struggle through solely because of the pigmentation of their skin. It's truly baffling to me why we as a society, especially now, with more access to information and knowledge than you could ever imagine, that there are so many people that have such a narrow-minded perspective on other human beings because of who they choose to love. And I think this movie does a phenomenal job showcasing that if you strip away bias about how you perceive people, that typically the struggles of the average citizen are very much the same. They are people going to work every day to make enough money for either themselves or their families to survive so they don't starve and that they have a roof over their heads. And this is a community in this movie, the queer community in the 1980s in the UK, struggling, at a period in time where homosexuality was not accepted, at a period in time where there was so much hate and volatility towards the community, that these members of the queer community were willing to say, this other group of people is going through something worse than what we're dealing with right now. So let's drop our own struggles and do what we can to help these people who are struggling more than us. And I just think that there's something so incredibly beautiful about human beings fighting for other human beings, and like seeing these people who have a preconceived bias about a community learning these are just people, they're just human beings, and like watching them come together, and like the joy and the happiness that they share in throughout the movie, and just seeing the growth of the community and people that you never thought would turn their perspectives around, shifting their perspectives. And I think that's very true. You see so many people now, and it's true in the United States of America, where even when you see polling done from conservative outlets, people are far more accepting of gay relationships than they ever have been. And I think eventually it's going to be the same for the trans community. People will come around. The people that are on the conservative side are on the wrong side of history. And just like everything else, they'll be the villains. They'll go down as the villains for being on the opposite side. And I think movies like this are so incredible because they showcase the power of love and compassion towards other people. And that's what I enjoyed so much about this. I think it's such a beautiful, wholesome piece of film that also shows the realities and horrors and struggles that the queer community has to go through. And it showed the struggles and the horrible things that the people in these mining communities had to deal with at this period in time, and the amount that the mining community eventually contributed to assisting the queer community. And it's just beautiful to see that level of support for one another in two groups that you would never expect coming together. And I just thought this movie was very remarkable. It made me smile a lot. I cried a couple of times. And I think this is a perfect movie to watch for Pride Month. If you've never seen it before, it's absolutely incredible. I have literally no complaints about it at all. I just am already ready to watch it again. So if you've seen Pride, did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was absolutely incredible. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm already excited to see it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.